Welcome to day 10 of the Table Topics 30-Day Challenge. Question number 1. What would you rather lose, all of your old memories or never be able to make new ones? Well, hello fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. That is a really interesting question. One, you know what your old memories are, the good and the bad. On the other hand, there's the possibilities of the new memories and what those are. There's the good and the bad on those as well. Which do you choose? I think that probably depends on your level of risk or maybe your outlook. Do you go with the known, tried and true, or do you go with the unknown and yet to be? Me personally, when I think about that question, I would rather keep the memories I have now. There are family members, for instance, that are no longer with us, and I definitely do not want to lose those memories. Those are precious to me. And so for that reason, I would choose to keep the memories that I have now if I couldn't make new ones. Mr. Toastmaster. 1 minute, 22 seconds. Question 2. What is the most important thing you could do right now in your personal life? Well, hello fellow Toastmasters. Gosh, our personal lives, aren't they made up of so many different facets? Personal, business, friends. There's so many different areas you can look at. For me right now, my biggest area is self-improvement. How can I make myself better? And it's not just in the one specific area of my life. In fact, what I'm doing and what I'm working on, I see as foundational to everything else I do. Because no matter what you build, no matter how tall or how high or how wide or how grand you make something, if the foundation beneath it is weak, what have you really built? It's just a matter of time before it collapses. So those foundational things in my personal life, that personal growth, that's the important thing for me. And that challenge or that undertaking right now is developing a better perspective on mental grit, on what it means to be mentally tough. Mr. Toastmaster. 1 minute, 29 seconds. Question number 3. What do you owe yourself? Well, hello fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. When I first heard that question, it struck me, what do I actually owe myself? Like me, myself, I owe myself something. And at first I was thinking, I don't know if I really owe myself something. I have much to be thankful for. But when I think about it a little more, I think what comes to mind is that I owe myself the gift of being honest with myself. You see, that's how I grow. That's how I learn. I think that's how we all learn and grow. Because without that honesty, we're simply fooling ourselves. Funny, we may not be fooling those around us, right? They may see through it very well, but if we're not honest with ourselves, we're only fooling us. And in the long run, that only hurts us. And if it hurts us, then it hurts the people in our lives and our relationships. So the thing that I owe myself is to be honest with me. Madam Toastmaster. 1 minute, 23 seconds. Question number 4. If you could go back in time and tell a younger version of yourself one thing, what would you tell? Well, hello, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Am I the only one standing up here that has ever thought about that question? There's been movies where you see the main character that gets to go back and does that. There's books where someone gets to go back and not necessarily talk to their younger selves, but they get to actually be their younger self and relive part of their life. You know, this is a question I've actually thought about before, that if I could go back and talk to myself, what would I tell myself? And I'm not recalling the exact thing that I thought when I considered this question in the past, but standing up here right now, the one thing that comes to mind, and I think is important, it would be to talk to myself about mental health. You see, I struggle with chronic depression. I have my whole life. It's kind of like if you put a goldfish in water and you ask the goldfish, what's the water like? Goldfish says, what do you mean? What's water? If you take the goldfish out of the water, maybe blow on him a little bit, you put him back in, and then you ask him, he says, oh, now I get it. See, when you have chronic depression and you live with it your whole life, you're like that goldfish in water. You only know the water. It's not until you get out of it and see. And for so many years, I knew something was up, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And once I knew, it allowed me then to grow and to change. So rather than let my younger self go all those years struggling and wondering, I'd love to go back and talk to him and let him know kind of what the story is and give him a game plan. Mr. Toastmaster, 2 minutes.